Hey, my friends! Happy summer solstice. Let me make a little adjustment here. There we go. Okay, I hope the light is okay. It's super dark in here today. It's the summer solstice, but ironically, it's dark in this room. So I hope y'all can see me okay. Happy summer solstice. I hope wherever you are finding abundant joy, love, light, all good things. My name is Geeta. For those of you that I know, hello and a big hug. And for those of you that I don't know, a hug, a high five, or a polite little pranam bow, if you like. Nice to meet you and spend some time with you on this most auspicious and beautiful of days. Hang on one sec. I just got to move this little guy. Come here, you. Okay, I need my bell. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend about half an hour together today. And for about 15 minutes, I'm going to teach you some stuff. And then for 15 minutes, we're going to do the guided relaxation. So if you want to, you can start setting up a cozy little nest now while we're chatting. That way, at about quarter after, when you're ready to relax, you can just sink on into bed or the couch or wherever you're going to relax. Or you can sit in a chair. You can listen to this surreptitiously at the office with earbuds in. I won't tell anybody. So, okay, my friends, let me adjust this here so I can see my notes. Got it. Fantastic. So I want to teach you 3 points, and then there's like 3 sub-points. I'm going to cram a lot of stuff in, but two really broad strokes points, and then one that has 3 techniques for you, and then we'll do the guided relaxation. So first, let's talk about why summer solstice. Why do we care? Why is this like a doorway to intuition? So, the power of the summer solstice is that it is the longest day of the year. We're getting all of this abundant sunlight, and our bodies are primed to receive these messages from the light at a purely physical level, not even talking spiritual, physical level. We respond with our circadian rhythms to the flow and pace of day and night. And some of you may have noticed that during the summer days and especially late spring when it gets light earlier in the morning and it's light later in the evening, people say like, I have a little more energy, I've got a little more get up and go. Very different than the winter solstice where here in New England it's dark at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we sort of want to hunker in and connect in that way. Now we're experiencing the opposite, this abundant sunlight, abundant sunshine, longer days. Our physical systems are primed to enjoy that. So if we look at that sort of cellular level, then we can go a little beyond that to the more subtle level. And the subtle level would be considered the level of the spirit. The level of what we call in yoga is prana, or energy, also called chi. That subtle level as well can really be used when it's infused with light as that doorway to the light that we carry within each one of us, our soul, our higher consciousness, our intuition, whatever name you want to give it. So when we are infused with that light in the natural world, it gives us that little opening to more easily recognize our inner light. It's brighter so we can see all of it and harness that power. Hope that makes sense. That could be a whole nother lecture. But this solstice in particular, I like to think of them as really a doorway to spirit. It's those crucial times, the vernal equinox, then the summer solstice, then the fall equinox, and the winter solstice. Follow this lovely pattern of the cycle of day and night. And each one of those days is that doorway to deepening our understanding of ourselves. So then with this light of summer to sort of illuminate our soul, we can talk a little bit about point number 2. Moving on. Why summer? Let's move on to intuition. Then why intuition? What is intuition exactly? What is this light of summer illuminating? So, intuition is that inner sense of knowing. It is that knowing like instinctively before your cerebral cortex gets all involved and likes to deconstruct and figure out and find the perfect, the right, the scientific answer, all of which I love, by the way. But that intuition is that instinctual knowing without the need for the reasoning. Most of us experience this intuition. This is a big tell if you are having actual intuition versus emotion, which we a lot of times want to label as intuition so we can get away with it. But a big tell for intuition being at play is when you just know something with a very calm certainty. There's like no big heavy emotion attached to it. Like I've seen some of my girlfriends when they decided to have kids, they're like, yep, it's time to have kids. And it was just like that simple. There wasn't this, should I, shouldn't I, is it the right time, is it not? They just know. Or you might know sometimes you go to like, I don't know, I have people, some of my students now are picking colleges to go to, or they already picked them, but they just went through that experience and they're like, man, I walked on that campus and I just knew. I thought in my mind it was going to be one thing, but I got there and I just knew that is going to be my college. We might experience that in choosing a partner. We might experience that in choosing, oh, I don't know, a favorite kind of chocolate, an inner knowing of the chocolateness of the moment. But you get my drift, right? There's that very calm, very neutral certainty. That's usually our intuition. When our emotions are roiled up and we can't make a decision and can't get out of our own way, that's when the overthinking part comes in. So that intuition then is that thing, what brings us here together today. It's not love, it's intuition. Oh, it is love though. I can feel the love. Okay. I go into all of these a little bit more in a little workbook I created. I think I put the link below. If I didn't, I'll drop it in when we're done. I put a little more on each section. So if you want to read about this later, you're a visual learner, check out that workbook. It's free. I just threw some stuff together to help y'all because it's stuff that I love too. So power of summer is a doorway then to the light, and that light helps illuminate the light within. We're experiencing that today with intuition. That's point number one, summer done. Point number two, what is intuition? Whoa, done. Now let's get to point number three. And this is where I want to just give you 3 ways to practice connecting with your intuition this summer. Because it can be elusive and slippery, this intuition thing. We have those big moments, right, where we really have that inner knowing. Like I knew when I met this person that was my life partner. It was calm and certain. And even though everyone around me was saying, what are you, crazy? I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a thing. And it turns out to be a good thing. Those are nice moments when they happen. However, our intuition is knocking on the door of our cerebral cortex every day going, yo, let me in. And the idea that we use in yoga and traditional practices is to have that very easy flow between the knowing of the whole universe, of this wonderful cycle of day and light, the knowing of that whole universe that today is the summer equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere. Take that universal knowing, combine it with our inner knowing, our intuition, and have that more easily flow through both our physical body and our mind. So that all day long, every day, you're living in that very easy, not always easy, that very, I don't want to BS you here. Spiritual path is not for the faint of heart, but it's you're connected to that universal knowing and that inner knowing in a much more responsive manner. How about that? So you're able to respond to situations more than like reacting. Rah! You're just responding with rather than reacting to. Excuse me, I was in the garden all morning pulling weeds, so I was super dehydrated. Thank you. So that's really one of the cruxes of this great spiritual path, is that we're trying to have that connection be like embedded in the way we live. And I teach a style of yoga called integral yoga. So everything that I'm teaching you today that's good comes from that lineage. Anything I'm saying that's a little whack or off is probably me messing it up. So, but I always say the beauty of having a lineage is because it can be useful to have practices that you can do to support you on the path that are concrete. And that's what I'd like to give you now. 3 very specific things you can do to strengthen your intuition all summer long. And it's just really super useful to have very specific ways. That's why we have things like lineages. It's not dogma. It's not you must do it this way, otherwise your intuition is doomed. Rather, it's just a doorway for you to explore yourself. Ideally, you eventually drop these tools because you don't even need them because you are enlightened. Let me know when that happens. One easy YouTube video, instant enlightenment. All right, we talked about the power of summer. That's point 1. We talked about intuition. That's point 2. Now we're on to point 3, which remember I said at the beginning has 3 subpoints. Are you ready for this? Please be prepping your area to relax because it's coming soon where you can integrate all this learning. All right, 3 easy ways to enhance your connection to your intuition this summer. Number 1, and one of my favorite things and one of my daily practices here where I live at 3 Dog Farm is the nature peace walk. The nature peace walk. So very often when we go out into nature or we take a walk, we have an agenda. We're working out, or we're going to listen to that podcast while we walk, or we're going to have a conversation on the phone with somebody. Or I do this frequently. I walk with friends all the time. Love those things. They can be very, very great. And walking to and from work, things like that can be fantastic. But I ain't talking about any of that. I'm talking about a nature peace walk. And this is something that really became ingrained in my practice when I lived at Satchidananda Ashram, Yogaville, for, well, many, many summers I spent there. And every day there, we stop work at about 11:30 in the morning, and we walk to a shrine through the woods to go for noon meditation. And it occurred to me many times when I was hurrying and late to meditation, how I was just buzzing and creating more disturbance in my mind that was not helping me to connect to my intuition. Whereas times where I gave myself time on the way back from meditation, I was in no hurry. I had no agenda. I had just meditated, so was hopefully a little bit less noisy in my brain. And I was noticing how I was able to really absorb the power of the natural world. And so I offer that to you. A nature peace walk is where you go out without a cell phone, without a friend, except for yourself and Mother Nature, who's the best friend of all. You go out without an agenda. You simply go out with the intention to observe and to absorb the power of the natural world. And doing it on a beautiful day like today, the summer solstice, is naturally balancing to your physical system and to your spiritual self. It will naturally bring you into harmony. That nature peace walk is something I do every single morning here at 3 Dog Farm. Just go off into the woods. I walk very slowly and just feel like I'm a sponge, soaking in all the natural goodness and hopefully leaving any of the toxic crap behind into the forest floor where it will be rejuvenated and recharged and turned into fresh new energy. So that's the number 1 way to keep working that strength of connecting to your intuition all summer. Again, these are all in the workbook. I know I'm going through them fast, but just to give you ideas, hopefully your brain is percolating with some ideas. Okay, number 2 way to connect with your intuition this summer is the magic of an intention. And I'm using intention here in the very classical yoga sense of a sankalpa. First Sanskrit word of the day dropped, boom, sankalpa, S-A-N-K-A-L-P, sankalpa. It's like a firm resolve. For example, before I sit down in meditation, they say, set a sankalpa for the next 20 minutes. I shall not move from this spot. My mind will be fixed on my mantra. So it's beyond wishful thinking. It's beyond just a hopeful, dreamy aspiration of rainbows and kittens. It ain't that. A sankalpa is a firm resolve, stated as if it is already happening. So, for example, if you're wanting to, I have examples here, so I don't have a brain fart. Right. So if you're saying something like, oh, I want to learn how to trust my intuition. That's kind of like wishful thinking, right? I wish I was, I want to learn We've all met this person, right? I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. And like they never do any of it. Very, very different from an intention saying, like, I want to develop my intuition, saying, I trust my intuition. Hear the difference? Stated positive as if it's happening. Wishful thinking, airy fairy, spiritual ish stuff would say, like, I wish my relationship was better. I wish we got along better. I just wish, blah, blah, blah. Say, I have a calm and healthy approach to my relationships. See the difference? Instead of, I wish this relationship was better. I wish we got along better. Boom, change it to the sankalpa. I have a calm and stable mind that responds well in relationships. I don't know. I'm just kind of brainstorming here. So this intention can be very powerful, especially if you say it to yourself before you go to bed, or I don't know, before you do a deep relaxation, like we're going to do in a minute. So a sankalpa can be a very powerful way for you to remember that desire that you have to connect to your intuition or soul. I have an intention for every season. I encourage you to find one for summer. Every season, at the transition of it, I sit down and go, okay, where is my inner compass going? And that intention gets written on the top of every productivity guide and day planner I use. So that as I'm planning the minutia of my day as a teacher, I have my arrows pointed firmly on the spiritual path as my main guidepost. All right, are you keeping track? That was 2 techniques. You've got the nature walk, you've got the sankalpa, and then one that we're going to do together right now, which is a breathing practice. We're going to do this breathing practice like to guide us towards the deep relaxation, then we'll do the deep relaxation. So let's pause for a moment. Take a breath. Let all that gobbledygook that I just taught you, let that go and get yourself comfy. I'll lead this third technique as sort of a bridge to the deep relaxation. Then the deep relaxation will use a lot of imagery that hopefully will bring a lot of the learning that we did together so that you can have a direct Siri, I think she needs to talk to me, so that you can have a direct experience of the things that I just taught you. So if you're going to lay down for this, please lay down right now. Traditional deep relaxation pose is Shavasana. Those of you yoga people may know that one. If you're not a yoga person, I'll show you now. You just lay down, legs a little wider than hips, arms alongside the body with the palms up, and you just open like that. But it's not necessary. If your back hurts when you do that, bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor. You can lay on a couch. You can sit in a chair. Just don't be driving your car right now, because Gita is not responsible for that nonsense. So get yourself comfy, adjust the lighting in the room. I recommend making it as dark as possible. Get yourself settled in. We're going to be give you another moment or two to do that. We're going to be using imagery of sunlight, since we are celebrating the longest day of the year, and using that as a doorway between the physical realm and the deeper intuitive knowing. We're going to use that light to help infuse your body and your mind. So get yourself comfortable. I'm going to ring a bell 3 times. And as that bell rings, that's just sort of your guide that if you're not already in a comfy position to get there, if you're in a comfy position, let it get even more comfy. I'd like to invite all the great teachers of all the great traditions of yoga who have our highest aspiration in their comfort and care to be with us here today. All of the millions of people who have practiced yoga before us, may their loving presence guide us and keep us firmly fixed for the next 10 minutes or so, that we may experience that connection to our ease. Thank you to all these great guides who have safeguarded these beautiful traditions and passed them on to us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. As you start to settle in, just release any remaining tension, any last wiggles in the body. And let's use some breaths here to discharge any busyness of your mind, any nonsense of the day. So just bring that beautiful image of sunlight into your mind's eye. Your eyes can be closed or open, whatever feels good. But just imagining that beautiful, restoring sunlight. And at your pace, you'll take a breath in and imagine that sunlight infusing your heart. And as you exhale, that light leaves and it carries away any stress and tension or stuck emotions. Taking another breath in, breathing in that light deep inside every cell of the heart. Exhaling, allowing that light to leave the body, carrying away anything that's no longer useful. At your own pace, one more deep cleansing inhale. And exhaling. And now let's begin our Yoga Nidra guided relaxation. And bring even more strongly into your mind's eye whatever image of the sun comes to you naturally. Follow your intuition here. You may see a sunrise, a sunset. You may see the sun at noon or the sun filtering through trees. You may even see the dark, dark night and the first hint of dawn. Whatever image of the sun comes to you, let that be your guide. Already connecting to your intuition through the image of the sun. The sun, her name is Surya, this giver of light, 93 million miles away, selflessly gives you this light, never asking for anything in return. So each time you connect with the light, you're connecting with that deep, infinite well of life, energy, and selflessness. Strengthen that visual image of your perfect sun in your mind's eye. And now we can use the power of your personal light to move through each part of your body, one by one, encouraging each area simply to release. The more you release each part of your physical body, the more it will receive the connection to the light, which is the universe, which is you. So first, see the image of the sun and see the sun radiating the perfect color light all around you. And it's also the perfect temperature for you. It may be cooling, warm, or hot, whatever you need. Following your intuition to pick the perfect color and temperature for you. And now this light is so special because with the touch of your awareness, it can begin moving through your toes. And just for a moment, stretch and spread your toes so you can really feel and connect to them. Inhale as you stretch and spread the toes. Then you'll simply exhale and release the toes, allowing the light to fill your toes completely. And then that light begins to move through the bottoms and tops of the feet, releasing them. The light moves through the ankles and lower legs, moves through each cell of the knees, releasing through to the upper legs. Release. And now that beautiful light moves through your hips from deep inside out, releasing them, receiving the positive message from the light. Moves through the base of the spine, through the low back. The light moves up through the middle back, upper back, and shoulders, completely bathed in this beautiful summer solstice light. Moves down through the upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, hands, and fingers, infused with the light. And now the light begins to swirl and move through the lower abdomen, through the upper abdomen, releasing any tension and pressure from deep inside out. And now that sun moves through your heart, cleansing away any old impressions, pain, hurt, transgressions, and illness from the heart is completely transformed as the light moves through your heart, filling it with the healing, restoring light. The heart becomes so infused with the light. It's almost as if you can picture it as that beautiful summer solstice sun radiating in the middle of your chest. Your heart becomes the sun, and you transform into a person who is so connected to this universal knowing that from this moment forward, this shall be you, light, powerful, infinite. That summer sun radiates now from your own heart through to every cell of the body, moving up through the throat, through your brain, the muscles of your face and eyes. That inner sun shines, releases your whole physical body, moving you to that place of infinite peace and total connection. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. If you like, you can stay here. Just simply let yourself drift over to your device and silence it. For those of you who'd like to come back to your day while carrying this inner sun, you may do so very easily now, knowing that this sensation of the inner sun will be with you for the rest of the day, and indeed for the rest of your days. For it is now your own heart. So simply taking a breath in and a breath out. And letting the body slowly awaken. I hope that this summer solstice brings you new connection. No, not I hope. I know that this summer solstice will bring you connection to your deepest self, to your own intuition. Make sure to grab the workbook I left for you and keep practicing. Mark this video so you can come back and just skip right to the spot where we do the deep relaxation and do it a couple of times a week. The more you do it, the more this will become your reality. I also have a whole course called Relaxation Rescue that has 15, I think, guided relaxations on it. So if you want more guided relaxation, there's that mini course that also has videos and worksheets and all kinds of good things. Wherever this summer solstice finds you, please know I am sending you lots of love and the beautiful summer sun you can see radiating in the window behind me. Sending you lots of love from Three Dog Farm. Many thanks to all the great masters of this wisdom tradition of yoga, the great masters of integral yoga, Sri Swami Satchidananda and his teacher, Swami Shivananda, and all those who have safeguarded these traditions so that we can just feel a little better. Woo! Thank you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to you. Mwah. Happy solstice. Peace out.